Now let's look at shell expansion. So we've actually done something like expansion in the previous videos or projects before, one of which is those wildcards. So those wildcards are a good example of expansion, which they are called pathname expansion. Okay, so with expansion we type something and it is expanded into something else before the shell acts upon it. So the mechanism by which wildcards work is called the pathname. So we've already done wildcards. You can check our previous videos for wildcards. So I won't talk about that here. Alright. And so we're going to move to the arithmetic expansion aspects. Now, before we do that, let me just show you something. We already know that cd is a command for taking us to the home directory, right? And aside from cd, which is the shorter way, the natural way is usually cd and this our tilde character here, which will take us to the same home command, the home directory. Alright, so let me go again to my dev.plus directory. So if I from here maybe type in echo and I put that tilde character, that tilde character always signify the home directory, so it will print out the home directory for me. So as if I'm just pointing out the home directory, that's like the location of the home directory. So that is actually part of an expansion in a way on its own. That means this symbol, this tilde character expanded itself to bring out what it actually means. So that's just what expansion is just all about. So firstly, now we want to look at the arithmetic expression aspect. So this is how we write our arithmetic expression when it comes to using arithmetic expansion. Let's say a practical example of how it works with some basic maths calculations. Okay, so if I say echo always, then we are going to surely use this dollar sign in terms of solving an arithmetic operator in your shell. You have to use that dollar sign. Then following the syntax, remember the syntax, this is syntax, the dollar sign, and then a normal brackets, opening brackets after the dollar sign, then the major expression will be inside the second brackets. So we have add the first bracket, this is the second bracket, so we can now put in the expression. So I can just say maybe 5 times 2. Now the times is an asterisk, not letter x. Okay, it's an asterisk, that's the multiplication. So I'll close it again like this. So you can see it gives us 10. So that's what arithmetic expansion does. You can even do more, like, let me say something like this: echo dollar sign, then let me see something like 5 raised power 2. So 5 raised power 2 is 2 asterisk. When you say something 5 raised power 2, we're going to use 2 asterisk. Okay, so whatever answer this gives us, I want it to times it by 3. So I'll close the brackets, then I'll close the brackets. Remember, we always need to have the first initial brackets after the dollar sign that will cover all our arithmetic. Then the next aspect of the brackets, the inner bracket, is where the expression is. So if you notice here, we still have an added bracket. That's just like in board mass. So I'm just making that place to be like a board mass format. So you should solve that bracket for me first. You should first do 5 raised power 2 for me. Then whatever answer it gets, times it by 3. So that's what it means, and this will give us 75. So let me just do one more example. This time just using division, and just so you know, this arithmetic operator in our shell works with integers only. Okay, so we can't just type decimal here, it only works with integers. So if I say something like this, echo five divided by 2, this will give me 2. Well, we know realistically to give me 2.5, right? Like 2 raised power, 2 whole number 1 over 2, right? That's remainder 1, right? But since we are dealing with integers, it will only take only the integer part, which is the 2. So that's why it brings our answer as 2. Okay, so we can also choose to check for the remainder using that our modulus operator. So modulus operator is to check for remainder. So if I say 5%, which is the sign of our modulus, 2, this will give us only the remainder of this, which is 1. Okay, so that's just how to play around with arithmetic operator inside your shell. So let's move on. So we have something called the brace expansion. Now perhaps the strangest expansion is called the brace expansion. With it, we can create multiple text strings from a pattern containing braces. Patterns can be brace expanded. Patterns to be brace expanded may contain a leading portion called a preamble and a trailing portion called a postscript. Now what that sentence is trying to say is that, for example, actually this what was the name of this stuff again? Let me go back to the notes, please. This brace expansion, this brace expansion works a bit similar to wildcards, not really wildcards per se, but looks somehow similar. The reason being that, for example, now if I want to create a file, if I say I want to create an empty file, touch, then so I want to name the file. This is just watch what I want to do now. So I'll use curly brackets here, A, B, C, back. Now this front is what we call the preamble, which comes before the curly brackets. Why this one after the curly brackets? Whatever stuff that comes after the curly brackets is what is called the trailing portion, which is the postscript. So now this touch command, remember the touch command creates empty files. So now this will create for me 3 files, and the names will be front dash A dash back, front dash A dash B dash back, front dash C dash back, something like that. So if I do ls here, you can see. So as if we create files in a faster way in this format. So we expanded, that's the right word again, we expanded this that looks short into this. You can see how they are well expanded now. So that's just how to play around the brace expansion. Okay, so let's read more concerning it. So the brace expansion itself may contain either a comma, which we've seen, comma separated by comma separated list of strings, which is the example we've just seen here, or a range of integers or single characters. Okay, so let's see the aspect of dealing with integers here also. So let me say I want to also, just like we can create, we can also remove, just so you know. Let me show you. So we've created this file here now, right? So let's remove it. So we want to remove it to use the same format of removing it. So since we have the files here, instead of writing it one by one, can do like this and remove everything at once. So if I do ls now, there won't be anything there. You can see there's nothing there anymore. So it means those files has been removed. So we can create more files too, like similar files like this, using numbers also. So something like okay, let me just use touch again. So touch number, I want number to be 1 to 5, so I will say 1.5. Okay, so not 1-5, 1.5. I think in wildcards we used to use that dash. So in this one we don't use that dash. So let me do ls. So you can see we've created several files at once in this, using this format now. So this, I just like the advantage of all of this. Also you can create, let me use echo this time around. So echo is just something to print. Okay, it's not if it will really create any file for me, it just prints it for me in a single line in the screen. So if I don't want to create multiple files unnecessarily, this particular stuff I want to do now is something that will look unnecessarily long if I make it a file. So if I say Z to A, you can see A, B, C, D, it's going backward now, Z, Y, so you can choose to say A to Z also. So you can also use it to create a file. You want each of them to be files, okay, but it doesn't really make any sense making alphabets like a name of file. Alright, so the reason I'm using this echo command, if you notice if I do ls, we won't see what we are doing there. So echo is just a way just for us to visualize how it would look like without it actually being in our system itself, just so you understand. Alright, let's see some few more examples. Let me do another nice one, which I would want you to think about the answer before playing the video, which means I will advise you pause the video. So let me quickly write down what it is. 3, 4. What do you think the answer or the output of this would bring for me? Like maybe if I want to create a file with that will bring a name, what do you think this can be expanded to? Pause the video and reason it first. So I believe you've paused the video, so let's see if what you think about it is actually the output of it. So you can see it first started with the small a as usual. So started with the small a, go since the next bracket, takes the first capital letter A, then enter the next bracket, take the 1 here. So the bracket has ended here, you have to go out of the range and take B, then take the next one again, A, big A, 2, then take B. Then this whole section is done. We'll go to the next section. So A, capital letter B, 3, small b, A, capital letter B, 4, small b. So that's just what it is doing here. This is similar to, all these are just similar to creating multiple directories. I think we talked about creating multiple directories in our previous video. So creating multiple directories like this, so it's also similar to what we've been doing then. So we're also expanding. Can see we've created multiple directories. Stop us doing it one by one. This one will take time. Doing each of them one by, okay, we already have mkdir4. So this one will take time to be doing it one by one. So we can just do it at once, putting all of them in a curly bracket and to make it faster for us. So I can also choose to remove them in the same format. So I just say dir1, dir2, dir3, dir4. Oh, who can think about what happened here, like what I did wrong here? If you notice what I did wrong, that means, well, that's good enough. At least you are aware of how to check bug and know the mistake when you see errors like this. So the mistake I made now is that we're removing directories. So the command for directory is -r. So I forgot to put the -r flag. Okay, although these are empty directories, I can also use rmkdir since the empty directory is better. I'm just fond of like keen to use this rm and using my r flag. Alright, so let me do that again. dir1, don't put space. I see I almost make a mistake now. Don't put space whenever you are creating directories with these curly brackets. Okay, so dir2, dir3, dir4. Good. So it is removed. So that's just it about that. So I think let's go to the next. So can use things like this to also list. Okay, can use it to create directory, can use it to list, can use it to create files, many things we want to do. So it's just a way of making it work, our work faster. So that's just the essence of all of this stuff we are doing here. So let's go to the next. Let me see my notes. Okay, now going to the command substitution. And the command substitution allows us to use the output of a command as an expansion. The output of a command as an expansion. Well, we know our, let me clear this, our ls command, okay, brings this for us, right? So now let's write it as if it's like an expansion in a way. So that is puts your $sign, then puts the command inside. So it's just like another way of printing it out in an expanded way, trying to say that since you already know our ls is whatever that is inside is our def.plus. Okay, so now we're trying to expand what this ls has, which is still the same thing as what is pointing out here. Okay, so that's just the point about what we are saying about command substitution. A better examples is when we use the which command. When I say which command, I mean this which command, not the other whichy command. Okay, so let me just quickly, let's check the man page of what which command is. I think this is the first time I'm mentioning it here, so just so we can follow up. So which command is used to locate a command. So that's just, it's very simple. We use it to locate a command. Just so you know, all these commands we've been doing, they are stored in the bin. Okay, they are stored in the bin. You may not know what bin is. Let me just go there so you see what I'm saying. Now this bin is where our Linux commands, most of all our commands in short, are stored in. As a cd bin ls, may pipe it with less. So all this stuff are our commands we've been doing. Let me see which command. Okay, let's check for mkdir. That will be around. In short, let's check for cd. I think this is, since we're in the C part already, so we should see something like cd. Oh wow, can't find cd. That's weird. cp. Okay, cp for copy. Okay, let's say mv. I think that's for move. So let's quickly check that out. Move. Okay, you can see mkdir below. mv, you can see mv for move. So well, there are just many commands that are stored here, just so you know. Let me just exit this stuff. So let's go back to what we are doing. Okay, so I was talking about the command substitution. So I just explained what the which command does. So it just shows us the location of where our command is. So like if I say which cp, it's telling me that cp is in the bin. Okay, so it's inside the bin, and isn't from user. Okay, I didn't check for that aspect of user first in the root directory, then the bin. Okay, so if we do something like ls-l, I put my $sign as usual. I'm trying to convert a command. Now we are converting the command into kind of like an expansion format. So which cp, I will know that which cp is in our bin directory, right? So that is bin cp. So to print out what this which, and the advantage of this which command that we are doing here is just that we don't need to know the exact directory of where it is. The which will just find it for us and print it out. So this ls-l, we are printing whatever feature the cp command has. So that's like the permissions and the likes. Okay, so this is also the direction of where it is located. So it just prints out the information because of the ls-l. So the which command, the advantage of the which command, just for it to print out the path for us without us really knowing where the path is located. Okay, so that's just it about that. You can also use, just so you know, you can also use backtick in this particular case. In this case, when it comes to using something like this which cp, you can see it's still the same thing. Alright, so that's one of the alternative syntax for command substitution only. Okay, for command substitution only. The rest will still be using our $sign and our brackets. Okay, just so you know. So let's check my notes. Okay, we have the last part talking about double quotes. I think this double quotes, you would have seen something similar in your Git bash. If you do ls in your desktop, you will notice there are some files whereby, or some file where you saved with two names. Like when you save a file, like maybe for example new folder, because a new folder is 2 words, right? But you use it as a name for that file. It's not as if you use new underscore folder or something. There's a space between those sentences. All right, just imagine it in your mind. So that's what we want to look at, the aspect of this double quote, how to use it on in Linux also, and just want to mix things up. It's actually deep, so that's why I want to emphasize on it. Then probably in the next video we'll talk on the rest part of this video. Okay, so the first type of quoting we will look at is the double quotes. If we place text inside double quotes, all the special characters used by the shell lose their special meaning and are tested as ordinary characters. Now let me show you an example of what that sentence is trying to say here. Okay, now let me create a file. Let me say I want to create a file, and this file I want to name this file with 2 words, using 2 words. Okay, just like what I just said the other time. New folder. So that's the name of the file. So new folder txt file. Alright. Now watch something. If I do ls, oh, let me remove this number stuff. That's number underscore 15. Yeah, and just so you know, we can also use wildcards to remove this. I don't know, let me just show you. If you want to use wildcard, you can just say number asterisk, it will remove it. But since we're not dealing with the wildcards here, let me just leave that. Okay, so focus, let's focus now. If you notice here now, I created a file, new folder.txt, but now it is showing me 2 files here, whereas I want a single file with that single name, but it's not giving me what I want. It's giving me 2 different files here. Even if I do ls-l new folder.txt, you can see it's even showing me the information of each of the different files. I'm expecting to see only one information here. They're showing me 2 information, which means these 2 are different files entirely. They're not combined as I am expecting it to be. So how can I make them join together? So for us to do that, we have to use the double quotes. Okay, so we have to use the double quotes. If I say touch, this time let me use a new name so it won't mix up. So let me say 2 words.txt. Now let me do ls. You can see now this one now make it look as if it's a single name of file, a single word, a single character. If I even do ls-l, you can see it joined these 2 together and still give me one particular information for that. So that's just one. And just mind you, it's not advisable to write your file names like this in Linux. If you notice, I always use that underscore. So underscore is a very much comfortable way to use to create your name of files. You can use underscore, you can use dash also. Okay, so you can just choose to rename this then. So you can just rename this. That will be 2 words.txt. Rename it to 2 underscore words. It looks much better this way. So ls. Okay, yeah, so that's just it about that regard. Okay, so let's look at other stuff concerning this. I think on the other hand, also remember that parameter expansion, arithmetic expansion, and command substitution still take place within double quotes. Let's see an example of this. Still takes place within double quotes. We say echo, value double quotes, put the $sign, user, mind you, the user is me. Okay, $200 Now let's do the math operation. Let me just say 2 plus 2. Okay, then let me use this one. There's this command called cal. That's for calendar. It's a command for calendar. Okay, so this will print out each of the information for me. User, I'm the user, which is the Sys code. This is the mathematical equation of 2 plus 2, which is for, while the cal is like saying calendar. Okay. Let me show you something now. Why this thing is really this whole stuff now, this single quote make it look as if it's a single character, so it prints like a single character. Let me show you an example of what I mean by it. If I say echo $, and I just put cow like this, look at the results. You can see how this calendar looks scattered in a way. Now it's not as if it actually looks scattered, it's expanded it. Like we know that the cow represents this whole stuff, so it took each of them inside as if they are one, so they're like many characters. So the double quotes make everything look like a single character. See now. You can see it make everything look like a single character. So it didn't just scatter everything as if that's a single character. Just like when we created that our touch new file. It didn't make it like a single character. It make it as if it's one. But if you want to join both of them together, then we're going to use the single quotes then to make it look like a single character or a single word that you are trying to create. So if we do ls now, you can see make it like a single stuff. So that's just what this whole stuff is talking about here. Alright. So in the terminal, by default, unquoted spaces, tabs, new line are not considered as part of the text. And once the double quotes are added, our command line contains a command followed by a single argument. Alright, so that's just it about all this stuff we are doing here. I hope you understand. So that's just one aspect of shell expansion. So we'll continue in the next video more, and I'll share more light in this regard. Have a lovely day. Bye.